seeing some breaking news now. There were reports earlier of journalists who were abducted by the Taliban, and there were reports also that came in much later by the Afghan media. The Afghan media has been putting out reports claiming that it's at least 5 journalists were picked up by the Taliban and later consequently released. There is a video that has now been released by the Afghan media by some of the journalists in Afghanistan and in Kabul. This is a video released by the Afghan media. While we stay with the pictures and the video, there are reports of 5 journalists who were picked up earlier today in Kabul, in Afghanistan, by the Taliban. And there are videos that are emerging that also show pictures that are being shared by media houses in Afghanistan that claim that some of these journalists were beaten up in custody as well. And another video came in a short while back of the Taliban firing at protesters spotted on the streets a day after thousands came out in different cities, including Kabul, Herat, to speak out against Pakistan and also the Taliban rule. And these are the videos, the pictures coming in as claimed by the journalists in Afghanistan of the brutality unleashed by the Taliban. In fact, these pictures are being released by the journalists themselves. We are told that journalists, including the editor of a daily in Kabul, were picked up, beaten, and later released by the Taliban. And some of the videos are doing the rounds now. Also reported by Tolo News. Tolo News also put out a picture earlier today confirming that some journalists were picked up, and after the reports went viral, they were released, but after a thrashing perhaps for the coverage of the protests in the last 24 hours. There were protests across Afghanistan. In Herat, you also saw some firing. There were videos that confirmed that the Taliban had opened fire at protesters. There were reports that 2 people were killed, and we saw one of those bodies in the protests that were reported on Tuesday. And these are pictures now coming in of journalists who were picked up. 5 of them confirmed picked up and were attacked in custody. Okay, General K.K. Sinha joining us on the phone line. Major General K.K. Sinha, these are some pictures coming in of journalists who were beaten up. The journalists in Afghanistan are sharing these pictures on social media. And there are some in India who still believe Taliban is the reality. Taliban will set an example. Taliban will have a great government. General Sinha, your response to these apologists of the Taliban and its terror?
Look, Niranjan, you know, the same people when the Danish Siddiqui was killed by these the butchers, you know, these Talibanis, he was an Indian journalist was killed. And at that time also, none of these people came up. No one condemned. Now, you see, the old journalists world from who are there in Afghanistan, that badly they are treated, they are being picked up, roughed, you know, beaten, and then left. You know, this is the thing, and no one is coming. And still, you know, there are people in India, they are actually enjoying all these things. It seems like, you know, the Talibani way of thoughts, the brutal way of doing things, because they want that, you know, the whole world should, actually carry on and should just on these Sharia law. Is this the way they, you know, in 21st century people are thinking? These are absolutely ridiculous. You know, when the world is talking about the free press, free reporting, and everything, all freedom, and we are seeing, and the world is just looking at it. We are become, you know, this 60,000, you know, butchers, you know, Talibanis, they have taken the whole world for a ride, and especially, you know, the section of the people in India, and there are also in the Indian media, who's playing down all this, is absolutely ridiculous. And I think, you know, if we will, you know, the world listen and the global community doesn't react now, you know, it is a matter of time. I feel it, you know, it is just a matter of time. When the world has to rise against it, they have to take action, not only sake of saying, but they have to take action so that these nonsense will stop on behest of a rogue nation called Pakistan.
These pictures are a reality check for those who say that Taliban is a new global order and that they are a reality in the world.